know what really pisses me off? Real estate scammers. And there's a lot of them now. I can't be on any media platform and not see all these scams happening, right? The most recent and latest one is the Breakfast Club. Yup, your popular friendly radio station that you trust for hip hop news, all of a sudden are real estate investors. They're magnets at it, right? Why not? I really love hip hop. They're cool. Why not just go and buy real estate with them? They sell me a house and they also bring the DJ system so I could throw a party right at the open house. Why not? And while you're at it, let's bring in, a few G's, crush them up, roll them up, and burn a fat one with the homies while bumping some OG rhymes, right? Because I got this great deal on a house and we're making that cash. We're making it rain, right? Why not trust the Breakfast Club for all your financial services needs? I would. If I had another $5,000, $10,000, $500,000, why not? They're cool. And I don't even need to check their credentials. I'm just going to take their word on it, right? So if you don't know what happened is that Mr. DJ MB, who's been a radio host with Charlamagne Tha God, and they give you all the hot entertainment news on the hip hop industry. Now, this radio host, DJ MB, decided that he was going to get in the real estate game because that's where the money's at, and we're not making enough money as a radio host in this hip hop game, ain't paying off what it used to, so let me get in this action, right? And what's funny is that yes, there's scammers, right? There's a lot of them out there, but you think that they're the greedy ones. And there's a show called American Greed where they detail all these people doing all these scams for innocent victims. And what's funny, I think I heard a comedian say it before, it's not them who are being greedy. It's actually the person who's wanting to get rich right away. So the main draw to all these scammers is that they want to get rich right away and they don't care. And what's worst off, and it always hits like communities are not very smart, right? They want a way out. They don't care if they have to, sell drugs or take the hard-earned money that they earned and put it into this real estate scheme so they can make 100% back on their returns. Anybody that knows anything knows that that's not going to happen. If that was real, then everybody would be rich, right? You did not find a secret key that is going to unlock untold wealth for you. You have to put in the work, and they should know that, right? Like a dollar that comes in is not easily earned. And if you don't know the value of a dollar, then you don't deserve having any money at all, right? If you don't know how hard you have to work for it, and you rely on somebody else that promised you being rich before you're 30, before you're 20, and you're going to be driving this Lamborghini or whatever, don't believe none of that, right? So we have DJ MB, right, which hooked up with this guy named Flipping NJ from Instagram, bro. For reals. Like, how are you going to get your news and be in a partnership with somebody you found on social media? Now, that's a hot thing. Like, every realtor wants to be on social media and, peddle their goods, right? And it's funny because now we also have a rapper who's a real estate agent as well, right? I'm like, okay. And it's funny because I go into the comments and they're like, are people really seriously buying houses from this guy? What are his credentials? It's cool. I mean, I'm a hip hop. I was raised on hip hop as well. And as you can see, I'm not 100% with the suit and tie, which is great, right? But you got to check these people's credentials. I think the way that real estate is going now, where it's more flexible, and definitely you want to see who your market is. If you're dealing with the market that's different than who you want to deal with. So my market and the market of many of the people I'm talking about is some of the millennials that grew up on hip hop and grew up on the culture, right? So it's fine to get other people who also are part of that culture and bring them up with you, right? But the problem comes in where you're not doing the research and not finding out, okay? It's great that DJ MB wants to get into the real estate game, right? But he did not bet who Flipping NJ was, right? So anybody could promise you that they could help you become rich in real estate. But are they able to do that? Right? Is there a history record that shows that they're able to do that? Is there what proves that they could do it? And what's funny is that most of these people have been in the game for a long time. Some weren't, but others were, right? So there was different investors from different career paths that should have known better, right? And now they're suing DJ MB and Flipping NJ because they took the money and ran away with it. So who's the most greedy person? The person scamming you, taking the money away from you, and spending it on watches. Here's another red flag, right? If you ever see a realtor with a Bentley, right, or a nice, or like a Rolex watch, like all my friends, that's all they want, right? They're like, oh man, I'm gonna sell 10 houses, I'm gonna be a millionaire by the time I turn 25, 30. Yo, bro, you're selling a house, bro. Like, for reals, you want to make sure that whoever gets the house, that you're looking out for this, looking out the best for them. That's why I'm not a car salesman. I sold cars when I was younger, and I didn't like that because it has no benefit to it. I recommend to anybody, do not ever buy a brand new car. Buy a used car. Buy a car that's 20, 30 years old. If you show up to me, right, to my showing in a BMW, hell no, I'm not going to trust you. I don't, right? I like people who are humble, right? And now you have DJ MB like flossing, like, oh, check out my watch. Oh, look how rich I am, right? Check out my gold chain. Bro, I don't want to do business with you, for reals, right? Because at your high lifestyle is going to cut into my profits, right? So if you have a mortgage that's $10,000, $20,000, or whatever the amount is, right, and you're not making enough money as a DJ host, and it's a popular program, it's Breakfast Club, is Charlamagne Tha God not paying you enough money? Then take it up with him, bro. Why are you getting into real estate, something that you know nothing about, right? And you're peddling. You're like, okay, let's do this. You're not even an advertiser. It was outside the show, I think. Or maybe on the show, because even they let you promote it on the show, right? So you're advertising, and what's not clear is if you're getting commissions from every sale. That obviously you were meeting outside the radio and conducting business in the office of Flipping NJ. So there was a side agreement. Maybe there was an advertising agreement with the show Breakfast Club, right? So how that was structured, that could also be influenced into whether DJ MB is responsible for it or not, right? And if Flipping NJ and DJ MB both wealth accumulated over that time, then that's a problem. And Flipping NJ was showing off on Instagram all his nice cars and this and that. Like, bro, for real, like, I know some of my money is going to spend and support some of your lifestyle, right? So who is the most greediest person? The scammer or the person that is thinking that they're going to make 50%, 100% return on their money in 3 months, in 6 months, right? That doesn't happen. I have investors call me all the time, and they're like, bro, I need to buy this house and I can sell it and make a quick profit. And I let them know, yo, you need to calm down. If you think that you're going to buy a house and in a month, 3 months, sell it, and not take any risk and make $100,000 profit? Yes, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely. Most likely is you're going to break even, right? Or maybe I comfortably set a 5%, 10% return on whatever the purchase price of the house is, right? So if you buy a house for $500,000, 5% of that, let's say $25,000, right? You might get lucky, make a little more, and you might break even and not make anything, or you might lose $15,000, $20,000. So that's how I would recommend anybody that's looking into becoming a partner with somebody to do their due diligence, right? If you worked your entire life to save up $50,000, $100,000, right? And you've been working as a employee at the factory, right? As a mechanic at the body shop, right? You've been working at a restaurant, serving tables. My people need to pay attention, right? Just because somebody shows up in a BMW, it doesn't mean that their life is all set up. It means that they probably have a $2,000 payment for that car. Listen to me. If they show up in a nice car with a nice watch, first thing my daddy taught me is they probably owe all that money and they don't have enough money to put gas in their tank. Important. First thing I learned from my dad was if they show up in a nice car with a nice watch, it's likely put on credit and they're living day to day. So run away from them as fast as you can. If somebody promises you more than the going interest rate or return from your bank, or if you don't know what the stock market is, look it up or ask them what the return on the S&P or the Dow is for the last 3 years, right? So if the return's been 3%, 5% per year, you might want to do maybe 3%, 5% above that. And it should be done per year, okay? So the most I would say would be like 10% per year. Maybe you could get what a credit card gets, which is 30% per year. So if you're an investor, that money that you put in there is not guaranteed to you, okay? If you provide a loan, that money is guaranteed. There's a difference between being an investor and being a lender, okay? And there's rules to that. There's usury rules, what it's called, usury rules. It's a law that says that you cannot charge more than X amount of money, X amount of interest for the money that they're lending you. Okay, so if somebody comes at you and they're saying that they're going to double your money in 3 months, it's not true and you're being greedy. Know that normally you're either going to have the return that the bank gives you, which is 5%, right? What the S&P and the Dow gives you might be 8%, 10%. And if you get lucky, you might get a year's return, which is about 30%. And if you're an investor, you should be prepared to lose that money. If you're not in a position where that money is not the lifeline for your kids' tuition or to fix your car or to buy your first home, then do not go with an investor. Okay? Don't do it. It doesn't happen that way. What this guy was doing was that he's taking the money from you, spending it on his overpriced lifestyle, and selling the same house to 3, 4, 5 people taking the money in and promising, right? Flipping NJ was promising it give you 30%, 50% return in 3 months. So he was taking the money from new investors and giving it to old investors when they asked for it, right? So if they didn't ask for it, they weren't giving it to them. So you have to kind of pay attention, right? And if you get money stolen from you, then you're the dummy. Check the credentials. Why would you trust somebody on a radio station? DJ Ambi, come on, bro. For reals. Did he even go to school? What did he go to school for? Where did he graduate from? How long has he been doing it? What's his track record? Check these things, right? And after you give him the money, you should hold some kind of note, a title, a partnership agreement in the LLC that they formed, right? So you should have the ability to check the records. So if, say, the bank account is set up with Chase, Wells Fargo, or any other small bank, then you as an investor should have the right to go directly to the bank and check if the money's still there. You should have the right to audit the bank statements. You should be able to audit the accounting records. If any investor comes up to you and tells you that this is how much money I got, trust me, bro. We homies, dog. Run away, right? If you're talking about 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, your life savings, and you think you're going to get rich off a guy who is leasing a BMW and just buy himself a Rolex and has a gold chain, run away, bro. Run away. I'd rather trust my money with the CPA, right? With the lawyer, right? With the contractor that knows how to build a house, right? Or somebody, an investor that has money in it, right? So say you're a new investor, right? And you want to form a group with your homies, then form a group with your homies, right? Know that most of that money might get lost. You might get lucky and get rich, but you're in it together, right? And if whoever's forming the investor fund, if they're not credentialed like a certified financial planner, now everybody nowadays calls themselves planners, which is not true. Just because you have, a tax license or insurance license does not make you a financial planner, right? So you have to vet these people, make sure that they're legit, and you know where to find them, okay? And be able to live with yourself if the money is lost, right? And make sure who you're getting business with. Make sure that you can audit those records. Make sure that you're provided a note that says you're an investor in this property and it shows up on title, right? And it's registered with a lawyer, right? So you want to get a lawyer that says this property is right here and I own part of it. And before they could assign that property to somebody else, that they have to get in contact with you, right? So again, you have to be careful who you're dealing with. Just because you hear some radio host on, the Breakfast Club tell you that they're making millions, don't believe that. Check that, right? And check him. Who is this guy, right? He's getting paid promotions. He's getting paid this and that. He's making money off of all of y'all, all right? So check him. And then check the other homie too, because, yeah, all right, he has a real estate license, but what has he done? And how is he putting that together? And who's the lawyer? And who's the CPA, right? How many times has he done it? Who has he done it with? I want to make sure, and I want to check him anytime I can, that he's not going to get out of pocket, okay? And you want to invite him over for a party, and you want to feel comfortable with them because you're drinking and you're smoking with them, and now you're going to be partners with them. First rule I learned, don't ever do deals with somebody that's smoking and drinking. Why? Because problems are going to come up, right? Don't do that. Forget about it. Find yourself a nice Christian realtor, right? That doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't party, just a very boring person to handle your money. That's who you want, right? It's cool to be friends with the homie and try to get rich with them, but if they're not rich, you're not getting rich. You're taking a chance. You're living for the moment and have that understanding. But if both of y'all are getting drunk and smoking and being partners, there's going to be conflicts, especially when it comes down to money. And you're going to feel that he robbed me, she robbed me, whatever. You need a lawyer. You need an accountant. You need a certified financial planner, right? To make sure that all this is legit. So you check that, and check yourself, homie. Make sure who you're doing business with.